But of course, it's budget day. And, I've always said, Sheila, if you want to see what a government stands for, check out what's in the budget. And this budget is also looking very ominous. Right now, we are paying more in interest to service the debt than we are on healthcare. Can you imagine that? And yet it looks like we're just going to print a whole new batch of money tomorrow for more out of control spending. I thought Mark Carney was the CEO, Sheila. I thought he was the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England governor. I thought he knew how to, carry the one and make things work. Are we ending up with more of the budget will balance itself rhetoric?
Oh, I'm sure. And with an election potentially in the mix in all of this, I think we're going to see a very spendy budget, despite the Liberals winking that it's going to be an austerity budget, whatever that means from a Liberal. I think they're really worried about losing support of the NDP because the government will fall. And I don't think with the way the polls are that they want to do that. And I'm not sure the NDP want to do that either, since they're leaderless. And I see Avi Lewis, their prospective leader. I don't know. Maybe we can bring it up. It's kind of stupid. He tweeted over the weekend that there should be a government streaming service.
What? Wait a minute. Don't we have that with CBC Gem already?
Bingo. And they're literally it shows how he has no idea what's going on in Canada. There's some pretty serious controversy happening right now because CBC won't divulge the GEM subscriber numbers because I think they would be embarrassing to them. And it's so X did what X does and added a note to it saying that Canada has a public streaming service called CBC GEM.
Yeah.
But Sheila, I love that the NDP leader wouldn't know that.
Have you ever seen anything on GEM? I've seen advertising campaigns. I've seen bus shelter ads. I bet you they're spending more on advertising GEM than whatever they take in terms of do-re-mi. What do you think? But it's all on our taxpayer tab.
I've never actually watched it. I put it on my mother-in-law's TV begrudgingly because she loves herself some Murdoch mysteries. So I put it on there. I don't know if she ever watched it after that, but I have no idea. I've never watched it. I don't purposefully search for CanCon. I guess that makes me unpatriotic, but it's bad when they're fighting in court to hide the numbers. You just know it's bad.
Well, I was once doing a little rant on one of their bus shelter campaigns, and I actually went on to GEM, the menu, just to see. And, Sheila, it was kind of like this. I was picking up a definite vibe. This story, this miniseries, it's about a transgender bartender in 1960s Manhattan as she struggles to cope. And then...
Really, just the heart of Canada.
A transgender farmer in Idaho in the 1950s as he struggles. I mean, it's like you said, has nothing to do with the heartbeat of Canada.
Yeah. And yet the CBC admin will say, there is no Canadian culture without us. I remember one of my very first forays into X, I'm going to say 13 years ago. What I would do was I would listen to CBC radio and then just live tweet the nonsense that I heard, just verbatim. And those tweets did really well, even 13 years ago.
Sheila, sometimes when I'm out walking Sir Gregor, I have my little transistor radio. And often I'm listening to 99.1. That's the frequency for CBC Toronto. Because you got to listen, as painful as it is, to what the enemy is saying. And so often during my dog walking, I stop, not because Sir Gregor has to do his business, but because I just heard a whopper I could not believe, and to think we're paying for it. But back to the big picture, Sheila, the big question is, what is going to be in the budget? I don't think it'll be good, but are we going to have a so-called Christmas time election? My personal feeling, Sheila, is because what you alluded to earlier, the NDP, they don't have a leader. They have no money. They are deeply in the red. They are the last ones to go to the polls. So I think with that support, they get propped up. But who knows?
I'm 50-50. I think the Liberals are going to do their best in this budget to court them with a lot of spending. But at the same time, if the NDP were ever going to prove that they are not Jagmeet Singh's NDP anymore, they would stand on principle and vote that budget down. And it would be the chance to make themselves relevant in Canadian politics again. Now, I'm not sure if they are going to do that. But if I were to give advice to the NDP, and as a conservative, I cheer for the federal NDP sometimes because when they do well, it splits the vote on the left and then the conservatives do well. So you want yourself a Mulcair type and not a Jagmeet Singh type who's just like a Timu Justin Trudeau. But, like it would be their chance. I'm not sure if they'll seize it. I have no faith in them to do the right thing. Ever. Never.
But Sheila, in reality, really, what is the difference between the NDP and the Liberals these days on so many issues? I mean, why don't they just have that corporate merger and get it over with? And by the way, I agree with you. I don't want that to happen. I want a strong NDP because it's at the detriment of the Liberals and, and for the positivity of the Conservatives. But really, as far as those two parties are concerned, do you really see a lot of daylight between their planks?
No, I've been calling them the socialist wing of the NDP or of the Liberals for the last 3 years. It's like the Republican Freedom Caucus where you have these like super freedom-minded people who are within the Republican Party. That's all the NDP are now for the Liberals. They're just the socialist caucus of the Liberal Party.